Good morning, class.
Good morning, Ms. Johnson.
Okay, I've looked at you guys, check in, and look like everybody's doing a good job and having a good day. I'm going to go ahead and get Kendall to go ahead and do our objective. So, Kendall, could you come up and do our objective?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Agenda. We can describe the origins, characteristics, and expansion of indigenous cultures and groups that existed in the Americas prior to European exploration.
All right. Our essential question. I want somebody online to help me with my essential question. Khalil, are you there? Can you do my essential question, Khalil? Khalil? All right, go ahead, Zion. You can do it. Thank you.
Essential question: why were roads important to the Inca civilization?
All right, thank you. So she said, why were roads important to the Inca civilization? So throughout our lesson, we're going to learn about the indigenous cultures of the Inca civilization, and we're going to also talk about why roads were important. So that is going to be the question, the big question that we're going to answer when we're done. So right now, I need everybody to log into Nearpod. Here's your code. Here's your code. I want to walk around to make sure that everybody's on Nearpod. And it should say the Inca Empire on your Nearpod code. Alright? Quickly. Go to Nearpod. Yes, that's it. So far, so good. Looks like everybody's on Nearpod. Jaden, you on? Kendall, could you help Jaden? Thank you. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started with our Nearpod lesson. And once again, we're going to be talking about the Inca Empire. We're going to describe the characteristics and the expansion of indigenous cultures and the groups that existed prior to the European exploration. My essential question: why were roads so important to the expansion of the Inca Empire? Now I want you guys to answer this question. The Inca Empire was based mostly in modern day blank. Alright, we have A, Peru, B, Mexico, C is Brazil, and D, no answer. Okay? We still need a few more people to answer. I have 22 people in and I don't see 22 responses. Okay, I'm going to give you guys another 30 seconds. But it seems like we have a consensus we're at 75% that says Peru. Does anybody disagree with that? Nobody? You guys are correct. Give yourself a hand clap. It is Peru. And guys, we're at 82.6%. The answer was Peru. Now, I have a question. And this is a collaboration type question. Since we've been learning about the Inca civilization, I want you to give me one interesting fact about the Inca civilization so far that we've learned. Remember, in order to be a civilization, you have to have certain things. You have to have a surplus of food. You have to have government. You have to have religion. So far, what are some interesting facts about the Inca civilization that you have learned? Make sure that you put it in complete sentences. You start with a capital letter, and do not forget your punctuation marks. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. Hey Siri, set a 2-minute timer.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
So far we have some things popping up. Awesome. I see someone said that they had a religion and they sacrificed the poor. Correct. They had a highway system. So that person actually got on the flip homework assignment last night and got that one. Okay? And I see a lot of people are talking about the Inca roads for trading and the runners. So you guys did do the flipped homework assignment. So if you aren't logging in, make sure that you log in. These people are getting valuable information. All right, I'm going to like a few of these. And I see some of your classmates have already liked them. I'm going to like this one. I'm not sure who said this one, but it says the Incas used roads for trading and for the runners to send messages. Who's was that? That's a good one. Give her a hand clap. That's a really good one. I saw some other really good ones as well. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Now I have a question. What kind of landscape does Cusco have? Let's go ahead and answer that here. What kind of landscape? And when I mean landscape, what were they near? Maybe by a river? Were they by a mountain? Were they by a beach? Were they by a rainforest? Okay? Where were they located? Think about Cusco. And if you get stuck, we do have a map of South America. Majority people are picking the mountains. Anybody disagree? Because they did on one side have a rainforest, and on the other side they had the what mountains?
Andes.
The Andes Mountains. Everybody remember the Andes Mountains. Good job. You guys, 75% of you are proficient on that question. All right. So we're going to explore in just a second. I'm going to open up this PDF, and as I read, I want you guys, we're going to do something called hashtag summary. When we're done, we're going to type in our notes in our note catcher, okay? So just follow along. All right. I'm going to go to this one. I like my version better because I can make it bigger. You just follow along. So let's talk about Inca roads really quickly. The Inca road system formed a network known as the Royal Highway, which became an invaluable part of the Inca Empire. Across the plains, deserts, and mountains, the network connected settlements and government centers. The Inca had well built and lasting roads that included bridges, causeways, stairways, and roads. Also had small stations and sometimes larger and luxurious complexes dotted along every 15 miles or so, where travelers could spend the night and refresh. The Inca roads covered about 25,000 miles. That's a lot of miles, guys, if you really think about it. Consisting of two main highways running from where? Where are they running from? North to south and from across the what? The Inca Empire. One highway ran down the coast, that's by the water, and the other one wound through the highlands and crisscrossed. That means they zigzag. These main roads were some 20 secondary routes and many other smaller trails beside them. Roads were also built and were beyond the Inca control settlements and led outside their territory, perhaps to facilitate, that means to help, with trade or military against people and neighboring people. Now let's go move on to the next paragraph. Kendall, can you read the next paragraph for me? It starts with although.
Although some Inca roads used older routes, such as those built by earlier South American cultures, the Incas were also creative in their positioning of routes and were not afraid to cross new and unpopulated terrain. Inca engineers were also undaunted by geographical difficulties and built roads across ravines, rivers, deserts, and mountain passes up to 16,000 feet high.
So right now we can kind of go back to our central question, which was why were roads important to the Incas? Can anybody in this little section explain why roads could be important in this little section? Yes, ma'am.
Roads are important because they were where they lived was very big, and would have been hard for them to get around.
And if you notice, they had ravines. What else do they have?
Rivers.
Rivers. That's kind of hard to cross over if you don't have roads. What else do they have? Deserts. And what? A mountain. Then that mountain is important because it's 16,000 feet high. That's very important. Thank you, Kendall. So let's move on. Inca roads were built only using wooden, stone, and bronze tools. Roads were built in different geographical areas using local populations, in which most of the roads were different in design and material. Why do you think they're going to be different in design and material? Why do you think that could be? Yes, sir.
Like, I think it will be different because there are like different tools now to like get on the road.
Yeah, everybody's going to have different resources based on their what? Their location, yeah, where they are. So it's going to look a little bit different. Sometimes there were also 2 or 3 roads constructed parallel, meaning going side by side, especially near the larger cities. Flattened road beds, and I'm going to move up, often raised, were usually made using paved stones or cobbles. The roads were typically edged and protected, and the small stone walls and markers and wooden or cane posts or piles of stone. Now let's look at the next paragraph. Who would like to read for me? Anybody? Yes, Karen. Go ahead. Read a little bit louder.
The extensive reach of the road network allowed the Incas to better move armies across the territory. In order to further expand the empire or maintain the order within it, trade goods and tribute from the conquered people. Both goods and people could also be easily transported to and from the major Inca centers typically using llamas, carvers, and porters.
Caravans
And porters. There were no wheel vehicles.
So guys, we have to think about it. They lived in a different time from us. They did not have wheel vehicles. So everything that they had to do, how did they get around? How did they get around? Think about it. By what? By foot. Or either by what? A llama. That animal was a llama. Good job. Another interesting feature of the Inca roads was the use of runners. And if you followed me last night and you did the flipped model homework assignment, what were the name of those runners? Anybody know? Who? Say it. Chotskis, all right? Yes. And guys, these Chotskis were moving fast as they could, and they would operate in relays, passing information to fresh runners stationed every 2 miles, which was not only messages carried between population centers, they also had perishable items such as fish and seafood. My people in TV land, Bethany, would you sign up to be a runner? Do you think you would sign up to be a runner? And if so, why not?
Yes.
You would be a runner?
Yes, ma'am.
Why would you be a runner?
Because because if you be a runner, you could like see new stuff while you doing stuff.
Oh, so you're going for the travel experience, not necessarily to bring the messages. Okay, I can take that. Anybody else have another reason if they would want to do it? Yes, sir.
Because I like playing basketball, and then when I play basketball, I run anyway, so why not?
So you're physically fit, and I understand. In order to be them, you have to be a male, and you have to be physically fit. So I think you would fit the requirement. Anybody else would like to add on? Yes, sir. Oh, he said he would like to pose a question. Go ahead and ask the question. You're how you are thinking question.
Who would choose the people to run?
Okay, he asked the question. Let me repeat. He said, who would choose these people to run? That's a higher order thinking question. Who would choose? All right. Let's see if somebody. Yes, Mervin. Oh. Okay, he said the Sapa Inca probably chose. You have something to add on? You wanted to pose a question? Okay, go ahead and pose a question to your classmates.
Why might they be so specific on what tools they use to make the road?
Oh, that's a good question. Why would they be so specific on the tools they use to make the roads? Anybody want to take a shot at that? That's a loaded question. Trenton, let's try it.
I think they will like use specific tools to travel on the roads because like they didn't like have shoes.
I think so. That probably would take a place. I think they probably had shoes, but it's not like ours. So they probably want the best kind of roads. Anybody else want to add on to her?
Because it was probably the best resources they had of the older world.
Yeah, I agree. And he said it was probably the best resources they had. Think about it. As technology advances, it's going to get better. Think about the old iPhone number 1. Right now, we would say that's prehistoric, right? Compared to ones we have now. But if you think about the ones that we have now, they're so advanced. They have how many cameras? 3 cameras. So, like he said, they had to use the resources that they had and the technology at that time. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and look at this map. What does this map represent? Let's look at our title. Yes, ma'am.
The map of Inca Road System.
This is the Inca Road System. What do you notice about this, and what are your wonderings about this Inca Road System? I want you to stop and have some think time. And I want you to talk to your neighbor, and I want you to discuss what do you notice about this map. What do you notice about this map? You can talk to him. What do you notice?
What do you notice about it? I notice about it. Like it's like a road system.
What do you notice? What do you notice about the map? Lines. And what do you think those lines represent? The network, right? All right. Yes, I'm coming around. All right, guys, let's reconvene. What are some things that your neighbors talked about? What did you notice? What are some things that you noticed? Ernie, what did you notice?
Llamas.
He saw llamas. What besides animals did you notice? What stuck out to me, I don't know if this stuck out. Let me see if somebody else got this. What stuck out for you?
That there's a lot of cities in the middle of the line.
Okay, you said a lot of cities. Yes, Dan Marcus, what did you notice?
They got the routes that they went.
Yes, that's what stuck out to me. I noticed, look how big and vast this network is. And if you notice, there were 2 different what? Roads, so different routes. So that's what stuck out to me. Look how much it filled. It was from here, from Ecuador, all the way down to Chile. That is a huge amount of area to cover. So roads were very, very important. So guys, we're going to take a look at these pictures and we're going to move on. So if you notice, this is a suspension bridge. So guys, when I did my research, they handmade this. They had no equipment. Would you walk across this?
No.
I know I wouldn't, because I'm a scary kind of person about bridges anyway. But then someone handmade this, and suspension means it's gonna sway. All right, let's look at this one. This is an ancient stone road. Would you travel this road?
Yes.
I probably would.
I would.
I'd probably get bit up by something, but I probably would travel it. Now let's look at this one. This is, and I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. This is Machu Picchu. Would you consider traveling this road?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Think about it. Machu Picchu is in the what? It's in the what? It's in the mountains. And guys, what was the problem when they went up into these mountains? Something happened to these people.
They better have breath.
They were out of what?
Breath.
They were out of breath because of the what?
Height.
The height. I need a better academic vocabulary word. The altitude. And the air started to be thin. Now, if you live there, you adjust it. But a person like me and you, if we went up there, we would get really winded really fast because we are not used to it. Who said that? I love that. Give our hand clap. We were not adapted to it. All right. So, guys, let's look at this one. This Inca road is an unfriendly terrain. If you notice, what makes it unfriendly? Look at the picture. What makes it not the best, Miss Russian?
I have a question.
Let's answer this one first, and I'll come back to your question. What makes it unfriendly? Yes, Mr. Mosley.
Because it got rocks around.
Yes. That's what I would think about falling. What is your question?
So on the map that you showed us, they had llamas because they would ride llamas, and they also had whales. So does that mean they would ride the whales?
No, I think that was part of the water, and in the water, and they probably a resource that they can use to eat.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, that's still a good question. Now look at this one. This is the Inca Road and the rest station. What is this rest station for? Who is this rest station for? Yes, for who? Yes, they would rest here, and once they rested, they would come back with the next message. Yes, sir. You have a higher question to pose? Go ahead.
So you were looking at all the.
Talk a little louder.
So we're looking at the roads that the Inca used.
Uh-huh.
I'm wondering which, like, if there were different, like, Chassis, they were used to send messages to other people. So what kind of roads would they use?
I'm sure they had to use all of them based on that video that I showed you a while back. They had to travel all of them because look, if you notice, they had the unfriendly terrain. But even look at the rest stop. Let's just zoom in on that one.
They sleep on a rock?
No, they had little places they would sleep in. But does the terrain look safe here? No. So apparently they had to run on that. So they had to run on pretty much everything. And if you notice, the text said they had to be fit. So they had to be ready to move at any place that they had to run. Yes, ma'am.
I've been asking people, like, around the grass, on that picture.
Uh-huh.
By the grass.
Okay. All right, so what I want you guys to do is open up your note catcher really quickly. I want you to open up your note catcher really quickly, and we're going to go ahead and take our notes. Open up your note catcher really quickly, and if you don't remember where it is, or you want me to move it to the top, I can do that for you. Your guided notes, I am going to move those to the top. All right, and let me talk to my people in TV land. All right, Bethany, my people in TV land, give me a thumbs up if you are you ready to get started. You good? You good? All right, right now we are on our note catcher. Is the first thing sticking up. I put it towards the top. If you don't see it, I want you to refresh your screen. It's going to say show. Now we're going to click on it. It's going to say guided notes, okay? Guided notes. Y'all see that? All right, I'm going to go ahead and read. I want a show of hands, thumbs up if you are ready on guided notes. Oh, good job. Miss Russian, you ready?
I'm trying to find it.
Okay, it's the first thing on your screen.
It showed me my aha moment.
It's the first thing on your refresh. Hit show. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. It says today you will learn about the road system that the Inca Empire built. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
All right, let's roll. We're ready to rock and roll. The next one, it says present. Lesson 6, it says the Inca roads. So we've already read this, and we went through the documents that go with it. Now, what I want us to do is, next, I want us to look at our sources. So I want to go back to my sources. We looked at our map. We looked at our picture. Now let's look at source 2. Source 1 was actually the pictures of the terrain. And we've already established some of these we were not going to what?
Explore.
We were not about to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the Inca wheel. As I get started, if you have a question, stop me. If you see something that we should hashtag, let me know. Yes, sir.
I would like to pose a question.
You want to pose a question before we get started? Go ahead.
Why might they make the road look different?
Okay. Why do you think the roads look different? I'm going to let somebody answer that. Yes.
Like, because they're so small?
Okay. Could be. I think I need something a little bit better than that. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
I think they would be different because there's different types of fit people.
Okay, but let's ask that question again, because I think they're confused on the question. He said, why might they have what?
Made the roads look different.
Made the roads look different. Think about it. Think about the resources that you have. I need y'all to see it. The resources that you have. I can see you. Why do you think, Marvin? Why would the roads look different?
Because they didn't have specific tools.
Exactly. The tools are going to be different. The person who's making it is going to look different. The resources that they have are going to be what? Different. They're making most of this by what? By hand and wooden tools. So it's going to look different. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am, and I have to move on.
I think they were shaped differently because of how the mountains were shaped that they had to.
That could play a part. I can see that playing a significant part. So guys, let's go ahead to source 2. Let's see, who would like to read source 2? Go ahead, Mr. Foster. Read loud and clear. And then I need somebody online to help me out. All right? I need somebody online. Are y'all good? Give me a thumbs up. All right, thank you. All right, so I'm going to read a little bit and then I'm going to get Mr. Foster to help me. The Inca Empire stretched all the way from northern Argentina to southern Colombia, and the area defined chiefly by high peaks, narrow valleys, and barren rocky terrain. Even though the idea of the wheel may have come to the Inca, it was never invented or developed by something the Incas used. There are 2 possible reasons why the Inca never invented the wheel. Reason number 1 is because the Incas did not have a very large livestock. That's like cows and horses. They only had who? They only had what? Llamas. Who weren't strong enough to pull big carts. Carrying goods is far easier if it is carried by porters. And who can tell me what a porter is? Let's see. Somebody I haven't heard from.
Oh.
Yes, Orlando.
A person employed to carry luggage and other goods.
All right. So this method of transport was far easier than dragging a wagon with large livestock. Let's look at source, before we even go on, how can we summarize source 2? Let's hashtag source 2. What was source 2 all about? Think about it. Let's think about it for a second. Let's get some think time. What was source 2 all about? I would definitely look at my title. All right, everybody has some think time? Who would like to go out? Shout out. All right, go ahead, Jakari.
I think it was about how they can transport things.
Yes. So if I was to hashtag this, I would hashtag and say transportation. My people online, do y'all agree or disagree? Somebody unmute. Bethany, I see she did a thumbs up. Do you agree or you disagree?
Agree.
You agree.
What did he say again?
He's Miss Zion, he said it was all about transportation or the lack thereof of transportation. Because they didn't have the wheel. Right here, they didn't have wheels. And those llamas were not that what? Strong. They couldn't carry wagons up the hill with livestock, okay? Y'all see that annotation on your screen? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move up, and I need Mr. Foster to read welfare, okay?
The warfare of the Inca Empire.
I'm sorry, warfare, yes.
Of the Inca Empire was characterized by the ability to move across large areas in a short amount of time. Large scale engagement consisted of hand-to-hand combat and the establishment of a network of fortresses to protect an empire of over 10 million subjects.
All right, thank you. Conquests were important for the ruler's prestige. That means his power. All right. The king would require a tribute. Who remembers what a tribute was? What is a tribute?
Like a sacrifice?
Yes, exactly, a sacrifice. The king would require tribute from the defeated enemies. And guys, it doesn't always have to be a human sacrifice. It could be food as well. So food, gold, silver, and even human labor was often offered to the king as tribute for being defeated. The king's empire would grow and expand into regions in which, all right, they believed that they had defeated. The Incas also saw warfare as their religious duty. The Incas believed that conquering the other groups and expanding their empire was furthering their worship of the sun god Inti. Who would like to read? Anybody else would like to read? Kendall, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. To maintain an empire which stretched right down the western coast of South America and permit the fast deployment of troops whenever they were needed, the Incas built a network of fortresses connected by an even more extensive world network. At regular intervals,
Okay, keep going.
routes were interrupted with way stations so that troops did not have marched more than 20 miles without fresh supplies. Goods were also transported by carriers, both llamas and people.
All right. So, once again, prestige is widespread power. So, we've already looked at these pictures about the terrain. So, we're going to go ahead and skip this. But I'm going to pose that question to you one more time. Describe 2 reasons why the roads were important to the Incas. In a few minutes, we're going to write a constructive response. It's going to take us about 10 to 15 minutes to construct this. And you guys should have plenty of reasons. Does anybody want to share one reason why the roads were important? Yes, Dan Marcus. And read loud and clear. For resources. Okay, we need to get resources, so we need roads. Yes, ma'am.
So that people can walk in the mountains without having to climb a mountain.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir.
The roads are important because they have if they have the roads, they wouldn't have enough ways to get around their cities.
Okay, I like a lot of those. But remember, whenever we start writing, we're going to use our resources that we have, all right? Let's go ahead on and check our agenda to make sure that we are on track. We had our Nearpod. Now we have to go ahead and do our graphic organizer. What I need you guys to do is go out and click on our graphic organizer really quickly. It says guided notes. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? All right, let's go ahead and fill in our guided notes. It shouldn't take us long because we pretty much answered all these questions verbally. I'm going to make it really big so y'all can see it. Can y'all see it on my screen?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
first question was, from the passage, describe why roads were built through the Inca Empire. Anybody want to take a shot at that? Yes, sir.
They were built in the Inca Empire because the empire was large.
Yes, and what's another word for large?
Vast.
Humongous.
Vast. I like that word. They were built because, start writing, guys, the empire. Come on, Jamie. Can't write today. Oh, my P doesn't work. It real life doesn't want to work. All right. I'm gonna verbally tell you. They were built because the empire was vast. Okay, it was huge. And I can always write it on the board. I'm not gonna let that stop me. Technology does that. But you have to come up with another plan, persevere, right? Persevere. Alright, I'm gonna write it in for y'all. And my people online, you can see this as well. Give me a thumbs up if you can see it.
No.
They can.
Oh.
If they can.
Right. Didn't write it.
And I'm going to put vast and huge as well in parentheses, okay? I don't let technology stop me. Sometimes that happens. But like I told you, we have to find another way, right? Yep, got to keep it moving. The empire was so vast, it was so large, that they had to find a way to get around. All right? Does everybody have that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does fist of five, does 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute?
1 minute.
So about 2. Okay, about 2 minutes. It shouldn't take you 2 minutes to write that. Let's do 1. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. What you need, Trenton? Okay, could you hold that question until we finish this one, this graphic organizer? Okay, and I'm gonna come back to the question. All right, anybody, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on. My people in TV land, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on. Khalil, you ready? Khalil, you ready? Okay, she's ready to move on. All right, guys, let's go on to the next question. All right. So let's talk about the geography of the Inca civilization. How was the geography? If you had to talk about the geography, where was it located? Anybody? Yes, Ashaya.
It was located in Cusco, and it was in the Andes Mountains.
In the Andes Mountains, so they were near lots of mountains, okay? So I want you to keep that in consideration when you are writing your writing prompt, that they were by lots of mountains. The question says, give me 2 reasons why they were important. Now, technology. Remember, technology is not things like iPads. What were their technology back in the day? What did they have that was useful? Yes, sir.
They had Apple Notes.
Yeah, but as far as helping them make roads, what was helpful? Stones and what else? Wood. Bronze. Okay. Now let me ask a question. How did making these roads help them expand their empire? They were able to do what? Deliver messages. They were able to do what? What else? Trade. That's going to definitely increase it, because guess what? I'm going to increase my revenue and make more what? Money. Anything else? Yes. Okay, runners, she just said that they would have to be able to pass the messages, which is good, because what if somebody was trying to attack them?
They could burn a go pass a message.
Yes, and like Mervin said, they would burn those bridges. Anybody else?
What are these chopping?
Okay, let me come back to you, Trent. What was your question that you wanted to pose?
Can we compare the Inca civilization empire to another empire?
Okay, what would be the difference? Can y'all answer that? I want to pick Inca against the Maya. Where were they location? I'll throw that one out. What's the difference in location? Yes, sir.
One was in the mountains and one was in the rainforest.
Okay, one was in the mountain, one was in the rainforest. Anything else? Last one.
They had different capitals.
Yep, 2 different capitals. I got one. The Maya and the Aztecs were in where? Mexico, but the Incas were where?
South America.
In South America. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and stop here for that activity. We're going to go ahead and stop. You guys did an awesome job on that. All right, so I want you to keep that in mind when you are doing your writing prompt. Once again, let's go back to our agenda and making sure that we have done everything. Right now, I want everybody to go to Google Classroom, and I want you to do an exit ticket, and it's called Aha Moment. I want you to go to your exit ticket. My people online, are y'all with me? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a number 1 if you are ready to move on in my chat box. Only my people that are online. Thank you, Janiyah. I appreciate that. Now, I'm going to move this up to the top, and I'm going to give you directions before you get started. So go ahead and refresh your screen, and this is called an aha moment. Everybody look at your screen before you decide on the assignment. Y'all see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you have a choice. You know I believe in student choice. Now, you can decide to write my aha moment. That means the light bulb came on. So share one thing that you learned, but in my case, I want you to write 3. Because we're going to, level up. Or you can write 3 hashtags that you would use from this lesson. Does everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right? If you understand, put me a number 1 in my chat box. If you don't understand, give me a number 2. And I'll repeat. Okay, somebody put a number 2. So, listen, you get to choose. You don't have to do both of these activities. But if you want to, you can do both. Pick which one you want. So, for example, if you had an aha moment about the Inca roads, you can say, well, I learned this about the Inca roads. I learned this. That's what you're going to type in the first box. But if you want to do the hashtag one, you're going to pick 3 things that you learned about the Inca roads. Got it? Now, if you still don't understand, give me a number 2. Okay? My people online, give me a thumbs up if you have it. Okay, y'all looking good. Awesome. All right, I want to give everybody about 5 minutes to do this exit ticket. About 5 minutes, because we need to switch off and do our constructive response, which I know everybody's going to do an awesome job just based on the discussion that we had, right? All right, so I want to set a timer for 6 minutes, and then you're going to do your aha moment, okay? And I'm going to read a few of these, so make sure they look good. Hey Siri, set a 6-minute timer.